Testing, 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 testing. Okay, Google Books. American Railway Association Code of Rules governing the condition and repairs of freight cars and passenger cars. Ex Librius, the Equitable Trust Company of New York. American Rail Association Code of Rules, or MCB, governing the condition of the repairs to freight and passenger cars for interchange traffic, adopted American Railway Association Mechanical Division, revised at Atlantic City, New Jersey, June 1920, effective November 1st, 1920, published American Railway Association, 75 Churchill Street, New York, South Dearborn Street, Chicago. American Railway Association Mechanical Division, changes in rule interchange from 1919 to 1920. Modifications apply only to the railroad or use of federal control. Eliminated account termination. United States Railroad Administration Rule 2. New paragraph relatively linky. Tank cars added to Section B are shown originally in the supplemental number 1 of the 1919 Code of Rules. The new paragraph relatively interchange with the cars using lighting of outfits operated with the gasoline engines added. Reference of the ARA Car Service Rule 15 section changed with the ARA Car Service Rule 14, Rule 3. Effective date of Section Number 8, extended to the October 1922. Effective date of Section G, extended to October 1st, 1921. Effective date of the first paragraph, Section H, changed for the October 1st, 1921. Second paragraph, Section H, revised to include the transom draft gear. Effective date of Section I extends to October 1st, 1922. Rule modified to include the transformer draft gear. Section M, and modified to include the clevis pins. New sections N, O, P, and Q added to this rule relatively. The interchange of industrial or other cars that are not intended for interchange service are added to this rule. Rule 4, the words before reloading added to the end of the second paragraph of this rule. Rule 9, the requirement of showing marks on the axle eliminated. Require information to be shown where the air brakes are clean, modified in accordance with the revised rule accounting the single stencil of the air brakes. Rule 16, new paragraph added to the relativity test for the tanker cars, safety cars, valves. Rule 17, new paragraphs added to the Section C to govern the application of type of the decoupler. Section I, modified to include the Archer bars, and interpretation number 2 of 1919 new rules have eliminated. New interpretations 5 and 6 substitute for the interpretation of number 6 and 7 shown in the 1919 rules. New interpretation number 7 added interpretation number 2, transferred from Rule 43 of 1919 Code. Rule 22, rule modified in accordance with the Rule 1919 and Rule 1920 letter balance. Rule 23, new rule according to the accordance with the rule with 1919 letter ballot, and Rule 32, Section D, modified with accordance with its report of the Arbitration Committee. Last paragraph modified in accordance with the report of the Arbitration Committee. New interpretations number 5 and 6 added. Rule 43, note added to this ruling requirement statement for the case and certain damage for the foreign cars. Interpretation number 1 shown in the 1919 rules eliminated. Interpretation number 2 shown in 1919 rules transferred to Rule 17. New interpretation added relatively responsibility to the worn brake heads. Rule 60, rule modified an amount of letter ballot in 1919 shown in the supplemental number 2 to the 1919 rules of interchange. Interpretation number 1, 1919 rules eliminated. 2 new interpretations added to this rule. Rule 66, new sentences added to the first paragraph requiring the journal box repacking must be done in accordance with the ARA recommended practice. Section A, modified inserting the following words in the last line after the word renewed, and if necessary replace. Rule 76, modified to provide the use of the thread worn on a hollow gauge rule. Figure 4A added. Rule 86, 100,000 pound capacity on non-standard axles having 5 1/4 by 9 inch journals added to the table of the non-standard axles. Additional note added to the Section A relating to the non-standard 100,000 pound capacity axle having 5 1/4 by 9 inch journals. Limited date on the third paragraph, Section B, but they extended to October 1st, 1992. 1922, limited the date of the paragraph 4 of the section B extended to October 1st, 1921. First column table, the ARA standard axle limits is modified with the read the total weight of the rail. Your reference in second paragraph, section D, with the change with the Rule 98 to Rule 101, Rule 91, the following second paragraph modified reference to the roads for the U.S. federal control eliminated. New paragraphs added to section A relatively to prompt rendition of bills. Reference in the first paragraph of the section B with the section C changed with the receipt of the bill and bill is passed by for payment. Section F is eliminated, not covered from the second paragraph. Section A, first interpretation, 1919 rules eliminated. Third interpretation of the 1919 rules eliminated. Rule 92, the following words eliminated from this rule, except for the bills of the repairs leased and the cars but the ownership of which shall render the direct and if and so direct in the billing of the instruction of the official railway equipment register. Rule 93, the word shall be substituted for the word must. The next second paragraph added with providing with the separate bills with the periodical repacking of the journal boxes. Second paragraph is shown in 1919 rules modified to provide with the separate bills for the period subsequent to February 29th, 1920 prior to the September 1st, 1920. Rule 98, entirely revised, new interpretation added relatively to use and recommended practices gauged by the determined surface metal. Rule 101, entirely revised, surface interpretations which are no longer applicable, eliminated, new interpretations are added. Identification table for the MCB truss type, the brake beams corrected with the modified to include the Davis type brake beam. Rule 106, entirely revised, second interpretation eliminated. Rule 107, entirely revised, interpretations which are no longer applicable, eliminated, corrections made in either interpretation. Rule 108, entirely revised, list of items in which no labor and material is to be charged, eliminated. Rule 109, entirely revised. Rule 110, eliminated. Rule 111, entirely revised. Rule 112, entirely revised, to provide with a settlement for all freight cars on the basis of present reproduction costs. Rule 114, entirely revised. Rule 120, entirely revised, labor limits shown in section B with the modified in accordance with new rates for the labor interpretation shown in 1919 rules eliminated. Rule 123, reference for the Executive Committee for the first paragraph change for the General Committee. Rule 125, reference for the Association change to this section. Rule 126, eliminated. Rule 127, reference to MasterCard Builders Association change for the Mechanical section of the American Railroad Association. Rules 128, the revised account with the adoption of the standard form of the interchange rules and agreements. Second paragraph changed with Rule 129. Rule 129 of the 1919 code eliminated. Rule 131, reference to the effective date changed from October 1st, 1919 to November 1st, 1920. Standard form of billing, repair card modified to provide sufficient space for the such labor of the hours and tenths, cast iron of the columns being eliminated. Standard for the record repair card modified to provide sufficient space for the show of the labor hours and tenths, cast iron column being eliminated. Standard form statement of repairs modification provided with sufficient space to show the labor and hours and tenths, cast iron column being eliminated. List of subscriber provided to show only the columns. Only the companies who have executed the new form of the interchange rules agreements. For the form of the interchange rule agreement shown on figure page 184, for the form of the billing repair card, the record repair card statement of the repairs shown on page 179, 178, 182, revised American Railroad Association Car Service Rule 15 changed to Rule 14. Changes passenger car rules. Alright, passenger car rules changes. Rule number 2, new section B added the relatively interchange with the cars with using lighting outfits operated with a gasoline engine. Rule 3, interpretation shown in 1919 code eliminated. Rule 17, section 12 modified to include cast steel wheels. Rule 8, new section G added. Rule section H entirely revised. New interpretation added. Rule 10, section B revised. Rule 11, rule revised required a mileage report with the cars make no mileage. Rule 12, reference to the labor of the rate into the interpretation change with the accordance with the new rate shown in figure Rule 21. Rule 18 entirely revised. Rule 20 entirely revised. Rule 21 entirely revised. Rule 22 entirely revised. Code of rules governing the condition of repairs in freight car for interchange of the traffic preface. And then I think we're going to go right from there. We're going to cut this into a new. This is the Code of rules governing the condition of repairs in freight cars for the interchange traffic.